from Aquatic Filter Systems. I'm Eric Watson. I decided to make another video upload about drinking water this time and the different approaches there are available for filtering. The biggest reason I made this video is because a few times a week I'll get calls from customers that are inquiring about this presentation that's on YouTube. We see the bottle of waters all line up. I've seen it before. What they talk about on there is alkaline water and the health benefits, and particularly the gadget that they sell. I'm not going to mention any company names or different products, what their names are. A lot of people have seen this video, obviously, because I get a lot of inquiries about if that's a good approach or not, or if they should just add that to my main system for the house. But the reality is there is no real data that alkaline or acidic water, either one, is beneficial for your health. You may not believe that. You may have watched some videos and you're convinced, but the reality is that all city municipalities, all licensed water treatment experts that run those municipalities, and there are thousands of them on this planet, they keep the water at 7.5. That's neutral. There's a reason for that. I can tell you there's a reason for that as a licensed plumber. I've been plumbing for 40 years. I've got 70,000 customers, 40,000 customers just who have purchased my Well Guru system for well water for the whole home. I have tens of thousands of these units out. This video isn't to promote my drinking water system as opposed to somebody else's. I have plenty of work. I work 78 hours a week. I've been working that many hours since age 16. I got my license, I was a licensed plumber. I think I got my license when I was 18 or 19. Long time ago, back in the mid 80s. That was early 80s. This video with the lineup of waters, he's telling you that the waters, basically, if I remember right, he's telling you that the water is acidic. Well, let me tell you what the reality is behind that. That's hucksterism. If he's telling you that, I told this guy this at least 8 years ago, and I got blocked. He didn't want to hear it. He's making money off this. He's making a lot of money off it. You're paying $1,500, $1,600 for this gadget that's made to take water from your tap or your well and turn it alkaline. And he shows you that these different bottled waters that cost anywhere from probably $1. When I went out, I had to, unfortunately, I had to buy some of these today. $1.39 a half liter. He'll take the pH test and he'll tell you that these are acidic. Well, the reason why they're coming up with an acidic number, which is what the most popular question I get, how come reverse osmosis water is acidic? It's not acidic. The pH value, when you use a test strip or test kit, if you're showing 5.5 on the scale, you have to know what the source is in order to accurately give an analysis on that water, of the quality of that water. If it's coming from a bottle, if it's reverse osmosis, by the nature of the physics behind this type of equipment, you're oxygenating the water. That's a product of the water. So pH means potential for hydrogen. Just by running it through, whether it's a point of use reverse osmosis you put under your sink or in your basement and run it to the pipes above, or you got millions of dollars with the equipment that some of these companies use to commercially bottle this water, these manufacturers should like this video, because I know that video's got probably over millions of views. But these bottled waters, the pH is going to show low. And that doesn't mean it's acidic. That just means that the potential of hydrogen is changed. That does not mean you're drinking acidic water as opposed to alkaline. Alkaline water is basically has to come from nature, and it's a gypsum. It's a rock in the water. So city water, say city water, who they charge say $100, $150 a month for a water bill, they have to meet certain standards. And water has to be pH. Like rainwater, natural waters, it's neutral. It's neither acidic nor alkaline. But neither is the instrument that he's selling for quite a bit of money. And you cannot ozonate it or whatever process he's using. You're electronically changing the water to lower the oxygen count, to raise the potential hydrogen reading. And then he may be directing you out to different places that might be, or different sources that are saying that alkaline water is better for your health. Well, I can tell you right now, you don't have to go by what I'm saying. I know my customers, I have 70,000 customers. They only go by what I say. I mean, I've been doing this is my whole life, for 40 years. Water treatment is my passion. I build the best equipment on the planet, bar none. I ship my systems all through the lower 48 states, Canada. I send systems at 600 pounds on a pallet to China, 2 of them last year. And they pay a lot of money extra for shipping. They don't mind paying it because they know my systems work. In fact, I got the largest water treatment company that's my biggest competitor. 5 of their CEOs that work for that company within an hour drive of my shop have my product. A whole system in their garage that does their whole house. So my name is trusted in this business. But if you don't believe what I'm saying about alkaline versus acidic or neutral water, you can look at Livestrong.com, Mayo Clinic, Precision Nutrition, Medical News Today, The Guardian, the New York Times, Healthline. Whether you don't trust one of those or some of them, but the reality is the universities they're getting this information from actual testing, and there's nothing saying that alkaline water is better for you. Let me tell you something about alkaline water. Being a plumber, when I cut into piping, when I was a plumber, a service plumber going house to house all day long, 17-hour days, 75, 80-hour work weeks, I've done a lot of plumbing in my life. And I could walk into a house and just the atmosphere, I could tell what's going on or where the mysterious leak is coming from, whether it's rainwater or piping water. It's intuition. It's something that you just develop. But alkaline water, when I have gone to well water homes that have had plumbing problems and you cut that pipe with alkaline, I compare the body's, say the arteries and the veins in the body and the capillaries. It's basically like a plumbing system. And a lot of people will agree. I mean, if you feed yourself the wrong kind of oils and grease and you don't have the right metabolism, you don't stay active, well, those plumbing pipes in your body will clog up, and that's why you got to get a 5-way bypass. That could be one cause. Any doctor will tell you that. Too much grease in your diet. So we're going to get rid of it with drinking acidic water with a lemon in it, or taking purified water, which we should be drinking. Reverse osmosis is purified. And alkaline water, you could take that and put a little pinch of baking soda in there, or just, I don't know, eat a half a Tums tablet, which is marble dust, calcium bicarbonate. You could buy it in packages, it's food grade. You can make your own alkaline water. You don't use a ionics generator or ozonator to change the potential for hydrogen. You're not doing anything. You're not filtering your water also. So you may be saying, well, take your filtered water and run it through my gadget. Well, your gadget, a gadget's not $50. I've heard it's almost $2,000. It's crazy. The reason why I'm making this video is because that's hucksterism. And my whole career is about doing the job right. And every job I've ever done, I am the mechanic that you can compare to who rebuilt your transmission 10 years ago and it's still perfect. I'm not the guy who does your transmission and it's slipping again, and a few months later and you got to go back and you got to get a rental car. You know, if you're going to do the job, you do it right. You make one career, one thing, your life's work, and that's what I've done. I've done it. You know, I was 8 years old. My brother's a master plumber, was picking me up after school, waiting for me at the bus stop. I was digging plumbing ditches at the age of 8. Dropped off by myself with a shovel. So this is my work. I'm not and I'm going to go back to whoever's selling these endless gadgets you see on YouTube. Filtering water is a serious business. If you don't have something in the water and you got the wrong type of equipment, or you're doing something different to it, you could actually be putting something back in that water, or creating new compounds, or growing bacteria and harboring it and then delivering it into your glass of water. Your system should be, first of all, you should be a licensed plumber in this field, like I was, and branch off into it. Otherwise, you really have no business cutting into people's water mains or doing support for customers who have problems. If somebody calls you up and have a problem, you need to know what it is over the phone. Or if you're not going to go out there, you need to walk them through. You need to be able to identify it immediately. If they say they got flavor in their water and it tastes like a old penny, you need to be able to nip that right on the spot. That's why you deal with a water. That's why you deal with a professional, and that's why you should deal with a water professional. I'm not trying to get everybody's business. There's plenty of business out there in the water treatment. There's plenty of business in well drilling. There's plenty of roofs to put on houses. There's plenty of cars to work on. What irks me is when these dealers are salespeople and they lie to their customers to get sales. And then not only that, they call me, whether before they buy it or after it, and I have to undo all the brainwashing, all the hour-long video that they sat there and watched. It was totally wrong. So those are the places you can go to look up. Whether you trust them or not, a lot of them are legitimate, and you may not agree, but you can find your own sources. There's nobody saying there's nobody proving that alkaline water is better for your body or acidic. What do? I can tell you that I got tens of thousands of customers, and a lot of them don't call me until they are worried about their health. They got health problems. Then they're like, okay, it's time to invest in something. Maybe it's our water. But kidney stones, a lot of people have cheese in their diet these days, and it's things like that, or it's hereditary, or your water can cause kidney stones, too much ore in the water, calcium carbonate, lime and scale, magnesium, iron, strontium, nickel. Those things can contribute to kidney stones. I only drink purified water. You can put a lemon in your water, natural, real lemon, cut it in half, squeeze it. But you don't want to do that every day, all day long. It's not natural. Natural is 7.5 pH. So do it for a couple of weeks of a month. I'm just not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what I do. But this alkaline business of using a generator tabletop machine for changing the potential for hydrogen number and then telling you it's alkaline. Alkaline is something from nature. And personally, alkaline water, I go into a house, like I mentioned before, you cut into the plumbing and those pipes are clogged with garbage. I mean, it looks garbage. It just looks like you can have a pipe this big around in a commercial business and you'll have an inch of crud on the inside if the water's alkaline. So, and then if you're on the acidic side, if your water, now alkaline would be like 8.4 and up. Neutral water is about 7.5, and acidic water would be 6.8 and below, using a pH test kit, test strips. Acidic water, say you're on well water and you have acidic water, well, that can cause the opposite. You're not going to get the buildup in the pipe, so you're going to get rotten plumbing. Your copper plumbing, your plumbing fixtures, your tub shoe in the drain the actual brass in the copper is going to deteriorate. So you don't want to go from one extreme to the other. You want 7.5. Now this reverse osmosis, or if you got one, and you test that water, and it's 5.5, and you're like, oh, it's acidic. It's true what this guy said on that video, on the other video. And it's not true. Because when a reverse osmosis, when it makes product water and you test it from this little dispenser faucet, you're getting, if you get 5.5 and it looks acidic, that's only because it's oxygen infused. And there are bottled waters out there that even, they know what reverse osmosis process is. They'll tell you I don't want to say any name brands of any waters. I purposely have them all covered up. I'm not picking on any particular water. But there are some out there that say they infuse their water with oxygen. All that is reverse osmosis water. Yeah. But you can believe whatever you want. If you believe something else and you're paying $3, $5 a bottle, that's your business. As long as it says reverse osmosis, you're fine. But let me go into reverse osmosis versus spring water. Now I see a lot of people when I'm driving around in my service truck, I look down and they're drinking, I'm not going to mention any brands, but it's spring water, and there's one big one in Florida. Spring water, everybody thinks, oh, there's no magical clean springs anymore. All the springs are contaminated from west coast to east coast. Don't think that you have a well in your house that is pristine and you don't need filtration system. Spring water, according to EPA, you can take water, you can buy an old house, a broken down house on some lot in some old neighborhood, and you got a well in the garage, you can start bottling water, and as long as you market spring water, really that's all that, there's only one regulation that they really go after you with bottled water. How are you labeling it? Spring water, you can have anything in there. In fact, I don't have it here, but one of the bottled waters out there that I think it's like $5 for a bottle this big or this big, real fancy word. I think it's right around 500 parts per million. So, yeah, that's spring water, but that's heavy water. Reverse osmosis is generally around 20 parts per million. That's purified. Parts per million, that's your total dissolved solids. You read that with a TDS meter. Total dissolved solids meter. I got them on my website. You can get them. I sell really good brand ones. You can get them off of Amazon. These used to be $350. So only water dealers really had them, or pool guys. But we keep them in my test kit, and you get them off of Amazon. So you should have one of these. Everybody should have one of these because everybody drinks water. Everybody's supposed to drink 16 cups a gallon, 16 cups a day, between 11 and 16 cups a day. 11 for a female, 15 for a male. That's what you can research and Google, and that's what the most popular answer is. I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that. But that's almost a gallon of water a day for a male. That's if you're working inside, not outside. You drink less than that, and you got a dry mouth. A dry mouth is the last sign that you're dehydrated. That's before you start running into trouble. So if you got a dry mouth and you go looking for a drink of water, it's already too late. You're dehydrated. So that's that's about 25 gallons a month you're supposed to be drinking. That gets really expensive if you're buying bottled water. So bottled water, when I went, it was painful to have to buy these waters today I got my best water in my own house, in my shop. But these waters here, I think the cheapest one was $1, and some of them were $3. And they're not all the same, but I can tell you there are brands out there that, as long as it says the word purified, it's reverse osmosis. They enforce that. Spring water, it can be tap water, well water. City tap water is well water. 98% of the time. There are certain cases where there would be a town that uses a type of reverse osmosis, big commercial equipment, because their well water is so bad. When you pay for city water on a water bill, the government regulations, and I agree with anything that I say to you, I agree with. where a lot of people don't agree with some things that the government does. But some of the rules they have are actually put out there by people like us, professionals in the business, that they ask for us, or they get it from universities. But the parts per million is 500. That's the maximum it can be when you're getting water from the city, If you're paying a water bill, it can be all the way to 500 parts per million. The highest I've ever seen on a bottled water, I think, was 600 from a gallon of water I tested in some little store in North Florida, name I've never heard of. But really what that is your conductive contaminants in the water. That's what this electronic meter can test. That doesn't mean that, now that is not the final word in water quality. Because you can have water that's, say, 20 parts per million and water that's 500 parts per million. What makes up that 500 parts per million? So you could have some seriously bad chemicals. This could be rainwater. There's no particular brand, but say this bottle could be rainwater in a barrel, and you're testing at 20 parts per million, but it was rainwater and it was 0, but now the 20 parts per million is something that somebody poured in there, like a half a gallon of diesel. So you might come up on a meter and show it that, but you might think that's bottled water. That's why you got to know the source of the water before you start testing. So I just want to cover that, and I may as well go into now what would I recommend for your drinking water, your 16 cups on average a day that you should be drinking. You should be cooking with purified water, drinking purified water. Your infants, your babies, pregnant mothers. There's nothing more important than that. And I can tell you, what about contaminants are in the water? Well, I do a lot of work for the government. They call me to put their systems in. The people that run the plants in the middle of Florida, I have systems in their homes. Drinking water systems and whole home systems. I'm not saying they took me aside, but other municipalities that deal with water. And generally, most water dealers through the years, filter dealers, there's about 450 contaminants in groundwater. That's what we've all been led to believe over the years. I was told there could be as many as 6,000 contaminants. In fact, 15 years ago, I was taken aside and I was told, Eric, because I was called to come out and put a reverse osmosis in this penthouse, 30 stories up, out on the beach. And I asked the elderly woman, I said, well, how did you get my name? She said, well, my son gave it to me because he works at the so-and-so place that processes water. He said, Mom, you can call this guy right away and get one of these drinking water systems, same thing we got, because we are testing for things in water and we are coming up with things we don't know what they are. Because in testing with a lab, some labs have full spectrum analysis where they put the water in there and it spikes on the computer and it tells you if it's lead, arsenic, barium, boron, fluoride. They know exactly what all those contaminants are because they stop on the graph. Well, they're coming up with spikes that are not known. They've never put anything in there to say, okay, well, that's where that would end up on the full spectrum 7-panel test. And I was told, well, we know in the industry that there could be as many any amount or any one of the 6,600 contaminants in groundwater. Germany came over with their new equipment I believe in 2014. They tested all of our bottled waters, and they determined that 4 out of 5 bottled waters now have 24,500 contaminants because they have the technology to test. In America, I deal with full spectrum 7-panel tests quite often. They cost about $200. You can get after that you get about 200 contaminants for reading for about $200, and it goes up from there. I got customers who spend $700. They spend $700 getting their well water tested. They buy their whole system off of me, they install it, and they have it tested again after that to see what phenomenal results they got, and they get really phenomenal results. But the thing about American labs, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is on purpose the equipment is antiquated, and it's not the highest technology equipment. And my own personal thinking is, well, why would we not have what Germany has for identifying what's in water? And really, how come we have 25,000 contaminants in our water? That's groundwater from East Coast to West Coast, Florida, north. All bottled waters come from groundwater. They're all either tap water, spring water, same thing, well water, from the ground. There's no magical springs anywhere. There's no great water underneath your house. If it's clear and it smells good and it tastes good, that does not mean that it's pure water. So going back to, now some of these bottles are actually putting contaminants back into the water that's in the bottle. They could purify the water. They could purify this water, and the plastic composites are actually creating more chemical compounds and upwards of 30,000 contaminants. That's mind-boggling. Water is supposed to be hydrogen and oxygen. How do you get to that? Well, you're not going to get it with a gadget that's making alkaline water and selling this story to people so they get out their checkbook for $1,600. And I mean, how about working for a living? Okay, this system right here that's right next to me, that's a reverse osmosis unit. It looks probably kind of big in the video, but this fits under your kitchen sink quite easily, whether you live in an apartment. I've only had one home it did not fit under the kitchen sink, and you still have lots of room to spare. And it was actually a several $1 million mansion. They just didn't leave any room under the sink for the contractors to work. It was just all deep sink, and this takes up about the size of two 2-liter Pepsi bottles, and this is a 4.5 gallon tank. So figure it looks like 4 milk jugs formed together. That's how much space this would take up. This is the state of the art for drinking water, and I've been building these since 1985, about when the technology came out. When we were building these, when they first came out, the company I was working for, that I was doing subcontracting work for, they were charging $2,500 for reverse osmosis. And it was 4 times bigger than this. And in my opinion, back then, it was not really what you would consider reverse osmosis. Today, this is the unit, through the evolution of building units, this is my industry standard. You can find it on my website. It's called the Aquatic 70. This is a semi-permeable membrane, non-electric, permeate reverse osmosis. What that means is that it's simplified. It has a non-electric pump. This pump makes the reverse osmosis work 300% more efficiently. You don't have to plug it in. It just attaches to your water system. Now, you may look at this and say, no, I want a tabletop water filter. Well, I can tell you there's no shortcut to taking the contaminants out of your water. And the reason why they can all tell you that, oh, this pour-through filter, it's, they sell these stainless steel ones. You see them on talk radio shows. Some of my favorite talk radio show hosts, they're putting these out for $280. And you pour water. It's got a little filter in there the size of a Dixie cup at the bottom. I can tell you, this industry is unregulated. Even they can be water professionals or hacks. They're allowed to say whatever they want to say. They can tell you anything. They don't have to be held to any standards. I'm one of the last of the Mohicans. Around 2007, I'm middle-aged, and we also used to police ourselves in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Before the internet came out, we considered ourselves professionals. We didn't sell gadgets. If you had to have a tabletop filter in a condo because you were only renting and you had to, we would tell you exactly what that takes out, what it does, what you can expect. And we didn't, elaborate on anything. Now, these pour-through filters, they're telling you that, oh, it makes 0 watt or it's, on a TDS meter, you just pour the water through it and it makes the purest water out there. There's 150 different types of media products and bags that you can make these little filters out of. The stuff that they use in pour-through filters, I'm going to only touch on that for just a minute so I can let you know what the real story is on that. A lot of them use like a anion media. That is a media that has to be regenerated with sulfuric acid. They put that inside of a little filter. Yes, that takes the total dissolved solids down to 0, but it only does it for a certain amount of pitchers of water you pour through there. The problem is, it's not for everyday people to use. That is for, we build those into, for filters like in a dentist office or labs or hospitals for kidney dialysis. Those type of applications where there's specialized equipment that monitors that and uses that media, and it gets changed on a regular basis. You can't just say the directions say you can put 12 pitchers of water through it. The problem is with a pour through is that you don't know what is in your city tap water exactly. You don't know what's in your well water exactly. How do you know how many pitchers of water that little anion can take out? Because say they tell you 12 pitchers, when you get to pitcher number 13 or 12 and a half, all the contaminants that little filter was actually able to collect comes off in your water, in a single cup of water. The little tiny media that's in that type of media, it's like looking at a snow-capped mountain. And if you got a heavy blizzard blow and it blows the snow off the top of that mountain, that's what it's like. That's what your say your cup number 10 or cup number 15, could be cup number 2, because you got so many contaminants in your water that little filter is loaded up. And you may be putting 10, 12, 15 pitchers of water through there, and you're just loading your cup up with more contaminants in that drink of water than you would have drank all month. That's why these people should not be selling these types of filter technologies. But there's no regulation in this business. It's unregulated. This all around. Now, you may say, well, a reverse osmosis makes the water too pure. Well, you can't have water that's really too pure, as long as the process is correct and it's engineered properly. I hand build all these machines myself, or one of my sons who've been doing this for 15, 20 years. They're experts also. They're trained by me. These units have the best fittings, the best components. Everything is the best in there. Just like everything I've ever built from my first day in a service truck. That's just the way I am. I've trained my sons to be that way too. Reverse osmosis is the industry standard for high purity water. Now, a lot of people say, well, how come you don't make this for the whole house? We do make big machines. They're 4 times bigger than a generator. We call them skid ROs. They're very expensive. I build the best ones: stainless steel housings, digital flow meters, stainless steel Dalton pumps, the best. Pour a lot of money into them. And when I sell them, they're less money or the same price as what other ones that are just stamped out junk. This technology belongs in your kitchen sink. It does not belong on the front of your house. Now, underneath your kitchen sink, the great thing about this technology is every glass of water is just as pure as the last. This purifies the water, and then it stores it inside this vessel. This vessel is a 4.5 gallon capacity. It'll dispense about 2 3/4 gallons, which is more than enough water. It'll make a gallon of water. It'll make 50 gallons every 24 hours. So 2 gallons an hour. You can't drink the water fast enough, and this makes it. Even if you have Thanksgiving dinner and there's 12 people at the table, by the time everybody's consumed all their water and you use water for cooking, it's already regenerated. So the magic that takes place in this compact machine now for 20, this unit right here, I've been building this. I reached my zenith in water technology for reverse osmosis about 6.5 years ago. This is my Aquatic 70, my flagship reverse osmosis unit. It's affordable. You can put it, for what you spend on bottled water for 2 people, you can pay for this unit in 9 months. Because everybody spends anywhere from, a couple people a day spend anywhere from $1 to $2 to $3 a day. Why would you be buying bottled water that could have 24,000 contaminants in there when you can have this water? And you can fill up your own container. You could buy these off of Amazon. These are BPH-free containers. These, maybe 1 or 2 of them might be, but the last time I looked at the reports, that's where a lot of those compounds are coming from. This is BPH-free. This is made out of the same plastic you would see if you walked into your dentist office and you push the button down, you get the water on it. I'm not saying that's good water, but the big plastic jug, that's the industry standard. This is BPH-free plastic. This is stable. Doesn't degrade when you leave it out and you bring it out in a boat, put it out in the sun. So you can take your purified water from your Aquatic 70 from AFS, put it in this container, and they come with, you make these in all different sizes. You can get them in these sizes. You can get them 7/8 wide by 12 inches tall, even with the push down on the front of it that goes in your refrigerator. You can modularly line them up in your refrigerator. It takes up no room, and each one holds 2.5 gallons. I don't sell them. You can buy them at the water aisle, like at a Target or Walmart, where they sell all those rinky-dink filters you put on into your faucet. Well, they do have these here, all different sizes. This is what you should be keeping your stored water in. You shouldn't be buying bottled water. If you do buy bottled water, you buy water that's with the label purified on it. So if you're going out to work and you're on the run, or you forget your water from home from your unit, you're going on the boat, you need a case of water, you don't have the jugs, you left them somewhere, you buy a case of water, you buy water that's labeled purified, not spring water. So these come in all different sizes. Pick yourself up a dozen of them. When you purchase this unit, you put it underneath your kitchen sink. You can install this yourself. You don't need me to do it. I mean, I can do it, but you can purchase this off my website on the parts page. The Aquatic 70, this is not my medium grade, it is my flagship model. I have one that's $1,200. I have one that's, I believe, $100 less than this one. This is your best money spent right here. So even if you live in an apartment or a condo and you only got a year-to-year lease in there, see if your condo manager will let you install it, because it comes with a dedicated faucet, which is required. All my lines are color-coded. So there's a few lines here. Your blue one is your drinking water. The red connects to your cold water under your sink. Now, other reverse osmosis units, everybody and their brother is building these now. You can get them they come from China or Asia. I would definitely not trust my drinking water to anything that's imported. This is an American system. My tanks are Asian tanks, but these tanks right here, these are the best for the best value. They're pure virgin poly bladder inside, so no metallic touches the water, meets NSF standards. John Guest valve, stainless steel ports, so your water is just as pure stored when it holds it in this tank as it does here. There's no electric to the unit, so your red attaches to your cold pipe under the sink. I'm going to show you how easy this hooks up with this model. And your yellow pipe, see this yellow one? That plugs in right here to the top of the tank. Your black pipe, these are all the same on my units. I color code them for a reason. You only need a pocket knife to install this reverse osmosis, and a little short 6-inch crescent wrench. You all have that in your toolbox. So you just take a pocket knife and your drain under your sink, you just take a pocket knife and you just whittle a little hole size of this pipe, and you just put this over the pipe and you screw it and you just tighten it down with a Phillips. So you need a Phillips, a pocket knife, and a 6-inch crescent. You can install this unit so you don't have to deal with a tabletop filter or spend water and water that's unknown in a bottle, not getting good water 4 out of 5 times, and you're going to save a lot of money. And it's convenient because if you're buying bottled water, you do run out of water quite often, and you end up using just tap water to cook with. City tap water is chlorinated. All city tap water, all of it has chlorine in it. The city does not remove the chlorine from your tap water. Your condo doesn't do it. Your home isn't doing it. Your home on well water doesn't have chlorine. But if you put this unit under your kitchen sink for your tap water, the filtration spectrum of this unit, this will filter contaminants out of your water down to the size of an atom. That's where the rejection is. It rejects not in the micron scale, but in the Dalton scale. Far superior than tabletop filters or inline filters or than things you screwed in the end of your faucet. Those aren't filters. They say, oh, we take 99.9% out of the water. Come on. If there was an easier way to filter water, I would be doing it because we build these. I build these. This takes me 2.5 hours to build. And I used to sell these for $799. Of course, years ago, through the years, the prices have come down on it and the quality has come up. But now with the sale price I got them on, I'm not getting rich selling these units. Plus, they cost me about $60 to ship it in the big box that it comes in. When it comes in a box, that's what's going to show up on your doorstep. It's not cheap to send it. So really, this video is really a public service announcement because it drives me crazy when I get phone calls and I go over. It takes me an hour to undo the brainwashing that these middleman salesmen posing as water filter experts peddling these gadgets. People are getting bamboozled. So now I'll just send you the link to this video, and you can watch it and you get a lot of extra information on there. Whether you want to choose to purchase this unit, and this unit, this isn't a 1-year unit or a 2-year unit. These units, this new one, that's technology that's around 6 years old, I engineered this to last indefinitely. The tank I recommend, the tank is very inexpensive. It can be shipped to your house. I can ship it to your house for replacement tanks for this part, $50. Now, here's the thing about this. You may be saying, well, I never thought about reverse osmosis. Of course, I'm not drinking purified water when I'm running it through my alkaline deionizer gadget. That's not filtered water. To get the contaminants out of the water, you physically have to remove them. If you want to get that water back as close to H2O, hydrogen and oxygen, the way your water should be, you physically have to remove the contaminants. You can't use electric magnetic fields or magnets or O3, ozone. None of that's going to work. Those are things that other human beings are selling to make a big fat profit with doing as little as possible, as little talking as possible. Their video they put on YouTube, they probably don't even see those gadgets. They come home from their regular day job, they open up their website, they send out 5 filters, they make some money, 2 pennies, or they make a ton of money. You are not going to find any bamboozling equipment on my website. I'm not a bamboozler. The equipment that I sell, my whole home system for well water, to treat problem well water for your whole house at every tap, there's no shortcut in making that system. That system, that takes 2 of us almost a full week to engineer from the ground up. Our home water softening twin tank for city water, for filtration and filtering. That takes 2.5 days to engineer, to assemble from the ground up. We build everything. We engineer everything from the ground up. We use the finest parts available. How are you going to attach this red pipe? This is the feed to this unit. This is taking your well water or your city water. How are you going to connect this? Well, if you buy this unit from other dealers, whether it's from a local warehouse, like the Depot or the other one, every town's got them, talk to the plumber in the aisle and ask him how good those units are. They're about $370, and he's going to tell you that they're returned in the back. Many years ago, if a customer, like I put in my big system, and they say, "Oh, by the way, I got one brand new in the box I bought from the local warehouse. Would you mind putting that in? I'll pay you for it." Back then I would say, "Sure, but I can't warranty it." Well, I understand that. I couldn't even get it in. I'm a professional, seasoned master plumber, master mechanic. I couldn't install it. It was insane. They use a kind of faucet that is regulated by the federal government. It's for mobile homes, so it meets what their criteria is, which is kind of weird. There's 5 pipes hanging down on the faucet. One time I got an hour and a half into the job, and I finally said, "You know what? I'm done. This is the last one I'm doing. I'm taking it back out. This unit is inferior. I can't turn the water on this unit and trust it. It's junk." So how do you connect your one pipe here to power the unit for your cold water? Other units will use like a little aluminum pierce valve. You got to drill a hole in the pipe, squeeze it, turn it in, and it pierces it. That's okay. I've used those for decades. That's all we had years ago. With the Aquatic 70 model, this model right here on my website, I use the new John Guest. It's an angle stop valve, and these are the highest quality fittings. My whole unit is made with them. These speed fit fittings, my unit is 100% speed fit. These aren't compression units or brass. These are all made for high quality drinking water. They're plug and play. Amazing. If they had these back when I was a plumber, I would probably still be a plumber, service plumber. So this comes with your unit. These cost about $35, and I include that with your purchase because I want the state-of-the-art everything on my systems, and this is easy for you to install because all you got to do is the little angle stop, the cold that goes up underneath your kitchen sink or your laundry tub, wherever you want to put this system. You just take your little crescent wrench and undo the little nut there. You turn your water off first on the cold side, and then you just, by hand, turn that down on there like that till it stops, a little bit more. And then the little pipe that's going to the faucet, you take that nut and put it on top of here. So you're just interrupting the flow. And then right here is, that's kind of neat, a little port where the water is charged. And you also have a John Guest shut-off valve right there. So you can shut the unit off without turning off the cold to your faucet. Say if you want to service the unit, which I'll get into that. Service is nothing on this. So you're red, and this is how you make your connection. You just take that and you just firmly plug it in all the way till it stops, and that's it. That is the best connection you can make on the market. You're not going to get these from other dealers because they're not cheap. If they're selling 5 of these a day, and these cost $35 a piece, that's a truck payment or a boat payment or a house payment. They're going to rather give you the one that costs $4 and you're going to struggle with, and you're also going to mess up the plumbing. Say if you're renting a condo, the landlord ain't going to want you to drill a hole in that copper pipe going up or put a tap on there. This is removable. In fact, you could just put it on yourself and, a year later, just unscrew it, put the pipe back on, take this with you, take your unit with you. It's not portable, but it's semi-portable, simple to install. So you got your drain and your water in. The yellow plugs into the tank port. And that's it. I mean, why would, every house should have one of these. For what it costs, a few $100s. This, now you're getting purified water. And here's the great thing. I didn't want to really go into all this because what my purpose wasn't to market my reverse osmosis. But you know what the secret to a good chef is? When he's making noodles or soups, a good cook uses reverse osmosis water. Because if you're using tap water or well water, the harder your water is, the more soft your noodles come out. They're terrible. You get nice, firm cooked noodles. When you got water that is highly purified water and you're cooking in it, coffee, what, 98% of your coffee is the water is made with? You go to some of these, I'm not going to name any names, they're quite, you know, the little uppity places where you pay $8, $9 for a cup of coffee. I don't do it, but a lot of people do, I guess. Or you go through the fast food place, the biggest one. They actually have reverse osmosis. It's not the coffee that they're using, it's the water. So if you go to a gas station and you get a cup of coffee from that machine and it's terrible and you're like, oh man, I should have just waited and went to the donut drive-thru or the uppity $9 cup place that everybody likes to go and meet at. Why does those coffees taste so much better? It's not because they're going to South America or the Horn of Africa and they're getting this coffee that's fantastic. It's the water. That's the secret. Chefs, it's the secret. You know how much water you're supposed to be drinking every day? You're supposed to be drinking about 11 cups according to many studies for women and 15 cups for men. That's almost a gallon of water a day. So if you're buying, just say 4 of these a day, even if you're buying the cheap brand for 99 cents, that's $4. If you're buying it by the gallon, that's almost $1 if you buy it in bulk. So that's $30 a month. Or some people with kids, they're always buying sugary, high-calorie drinks and water bottles. You know, they're going through $20 a day with a couple of kids. I'm just in and out. I mean, it's not a good habit. But think of the money you could save if you had this on your kitchen sink, and all the kids got to fill up their little bottles that look like this size, made out of this non-BPH plastics. Think of the money you'll save. Then you know your kids are getting pure water from your equipment, from your machine, and you're not going in and out of a convenience store and giving them all your pocket money. What comes with the Aquatic 70? The workhorse of a reverse osmosis. This isn't just a filter pack. How reverse osmosis works, you have, on this particular model, you have 2 of these. These are, everything I sell in my company is NSF approved, National Safety Foundation. These are Matrix, the most expensive industry standard 2x10 pre and post filters you can buy. These are like almost $50 for a set of them. And you can actually buy these at the local warehouse. These are not proprietary size. They are professional grade. And my little booklet I give you with this, if for some reason you couldn't get them off my website or something happened to me or my company, you're not left orphaned. You can buy Matrix from the local warehouse right down the street. These aren't the 3 for $10 GE filters. You don't use those in my unit. 3 for $10 filters do not work. These do not filter your water. These protect the machine, the permeate, the pump, the membrane. This is the workhorse of a reverse osmosis. Now, see, when I'm starting to get into all these little details, you're starting to realize that, yeah, tabletop filters can't work, screw to the end filters. By the way, the biggest company that makes the screw to the end filters on the other faucet, when I used to go to the board meetings out on the beach to meet all the, the politicians and stuff, so I get my name out, and like 15 years ago, he doesn't know anything about water. He's one of my customers. He makes little shower things that screw to the head of the shower arm and the end of the faucet, and he's telling everybody how much it takes out of the water. He doesn't even know. He just doesn't know anything about water. He just has some Chinese company make them for him, and he sells them at these depot places, or home warehouses rather. This is the membrane. This is a module. And what is this? I'm going to put this away because I don't really, I wash my hands. You don't handle these with your hands. You handle with rubber gloves. So this module is a type of filter. How this one works, it's not like other reverse osmosis units. This is like you would see in a commercial unit, ones that cost tens of thousands of dollars for making really quality bottled water, whichever one, purified, or a big chain. So I'm just going to throw one out there like McDonald's. They actually invest in reverse osmosis units. They cost $50,000. I know because I put them in there. I installed them. I used to do all of them. They called me. This is the workhorse. Now this is a miniaturized reverse osmosis. It's like your own water treatment facility. How does this work? This is like 25 layers of a permeable, semi-permeable membrane that's in a roll. And if you look at the end of it, you'll see that there is little layers that go around. Kind of looks like cinnamon bun. Well, each one of those is as thin as a butterfly wing, but it's a very it's a composite material where if you were to roll it out and put water on there, it would just roll back and forth and roll right off. Well, if it's forced under high pressure, like this unit does, it will actually go through that layer of composite material, and it'll start leaching through. They're very, the holes are so small that contaminants that are in the micron scale, that are above the Dalton scale, they get caught in that layer. No, these are one layer. There's this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back I counted before. It's like 25. But it's forcing it through 25 layers. That's why this is the purest water. And this is already installed in the top canister. These are already installed. My units come fully assembled, not disassembled. If you buy from somebody else, you're going to get it disassembled because they don't sell them. They're middlemen. They find somebody who sells it at the rock bottom price because it comes from across seas where they make whatever, $2 an hour, and they use the cheapest materials, and you're not going to get name brand components like Dow Corporation, the big guys, or LG, top rated. You're going to get no name brand. No name brand. These are all the highest quality components through and through. A lot of talking and a lot of work to build these, and a lot of money to ship it to you, but that's the kind of businessman I am and always have been. And if you go to my other video, the benefits and features of my Well Guru system for well water, the 2019 best system, always has been the best system. If you're on well water and you got well water problems, if you don't buy that system and put it in your house, if you buy a system from somebody else, you're going to start having problems in 6 weeks. You're going to start having some of the problems come back, if not all of them. All of them will come back pretty soon. 6 weeks, you'll start having your first problems. By the end of the year, 3 service calls costing you $1,200. This is what everybody complains about. On the whole home system, I've addressed all 23 points that have plagued the water business for 50 years. I've addressed all of them, conquered them, found a remedy, engineered it, fixed it, honed it, ported it, put it on a pallet. I put everything on a pallet myself and wrap it up, install kit, fully assembled, even my full-size systems. They go in there and they work indefinitely. You're not replacing your whole home system costing you thousands of dollars every couple of years, or this system every year or two. I've never gone into a home and found my competitors putting that meter under the dedicated faucet that it comes with. And I'll show you that one. I've never tested my competitors' units and found that this meter reading the right numbers. Sometimes it's the same as tap water. This comes with it. And this is the best on the market. Now you may see little subtle changes. This video will probably be up for years, might have 1 million views one day, but I can tell you at this very moment, these are the best components that I've found through decades of work. Flip up the lever, it stays on, or press it on for momentary glass fill. Chrome over brass, swivels. Now, a lot of homes have a hole, extra hole on your kitchen sink. You can just take this off, put it on there, get a little nut that holds it to the sink, and got yourself a nice little faucet on your kitchen sink for dispensing your highly purified water. You may live in a condo, or you may not have somebody to install. You may not want to drill a hole in your sink or have an extra hole in your sink. You may not want this on top of your kitchen sink. Well, about 40% of these units I put in, I don't put this faucet on top of the sink. I take the blue pipe, which is your highly purified flow, and it just plugs it into here. Now you got this on a tether. You just hang it on a nail underneath your kitchen sink. Out of view, easy to use. So when you want to take it out and fill up your Keurig, you fill up your Keurig pot. How easy is that? You don't got to take the big plastic bucket off the side. And I'm sure when you drink coffee, every time you fill it up, you have 1 cup of coffee a day. You're the one that fills it up to the top. Probably twice a day, like me. So this is the easy way to do it. You just take it out from under your kitchen sink. I have it installed like this at my house. I'm a plumber. I can put it on the sink. I'd rather not. This isn't going to last forever. This is a faucet, and faucets do not last forever. I could try to build this to last forever, and I got customers out there. These units are 6.5, 7 years old. This particular model, I haven't had one service call problem with any of them, and I have tens of thousands of them out there. Not one service call. Not one problem with my pumps. Not one problem with the clogs or fittings breaking or leaks or tank not working. No warranty problems, no service calls. I mean, NASA couldn't build this for $12 million to work on their spatial that reliable. They couldn't do it. Actually, that's what they really spent on their reverse osmosis, $11 million. I bet you it's not as reliable as mine. So you get this with it, and you flip that up, and you can, now if it's not installed in your kitchen sink, like that, on the back of your kitchen sink, you can, if you just want it on a tether and put it under your kitchen sink, you can use this to fill up your big jugs. I mean, that should last you a couple days. I mean, you should be drinking, if that's a gallon, that's what you're supposed to drink every day. If you're not, you're dehydrated. And you know what that means? You may not notice it walking around, but I'll tell you what, this is what you need for proper digestion. Let me tell you something. If you ever get into a position like I was, where I forgot my water on a job in summer in Florida, and I was stuck installing a big filter system in this barn, customer wasn't there, there was no water onto the well, I had no source of water, there was no convenience store for 20 miles on the way home. I was so dehydrated, I was sick. You don't ever want to get that feeling. I'll tell you what, I felt like I almost had to stop, use a cell phone, and had to be airlifted out of there. on the side of the interstate. I couldn't go another second. The worst part about it is they closed the interstate down and the policeman was there with the cop cars, and there must have been something going on where they were blocking it off, and there I am. I'm first in line. I beat to my horn. I told him to come over. I said, open this thing up. I have a medical emergency. I'm dehydrated, or you're going to have to either take me to the hospital or send a helicopter. He goes, no. Let him through, because I thought I was okay. I went to work okay. Didn't have my water. Fine. I'll wait till I get a nice drink. I just grab one on a convenience store on the way home. Well, when you dehydrate, that's not going to happen. So you want to stay hydrated. So if you ever had to go all day long in the sun or 3 days without water, you might make it. So I just want to tell you my little story so it doesn't happen to you or one of your kids. People don't realize how important staying hydrated is. People get dark circles under their eyes, they're premature aging. I should have brought my list with me, but just Google it. The things that can go wrong with you from walking around dehydrated all day. Drinking a soda, in the morning or when you go home from work, or drinking out of the water cooler at work, that's not hydrating yourself. Drinking tea is not hydrating. If you just live on tea alone, you know what happened? Look this up. You drink tea and you dehydrate. If you're a tea drinker and that's all you're drinking is tea, I believe you can get kidney stones right away. It just develops instantly because when you dehydrate, you got to worry about that. Nothing works better than highly purified water for hydrating yourself. Tap water is filled with ore, what some people call minerals. We call it ore in the business, O-R-E, rock. What's the difference? Some will say, well, this unit is taking all the minerals out of the water. So I want to drink spring water, spring water. So I get my minerals. You don't get your minerals from water. You get it from food. Minerals for the human body come in colloidal form. That's down into the Dalton scale. Very small. In the water, when you're looking at minerals, those are about 80 microns and above, or particulate. They can be in a particulate range. These will cause kidney stones. Your body only takes in about 10% of the minerals that are in water. You get all your minerals from food. Don't believe me? Talk to a good nutritionalist. 20 years ago, they didn't believe that. And probably 1 out of 10 nutritionalists would tell you that. But nowadays, they're all on that page. In fact, it's nice because now a lot of the customers I talk to, they understand that completely. But there are still a lot of people who walk around there and say, oh no, I got to have my spring water. It's got all my minerals in there. That takes the minerals out of your body. So I don't want to drink that water. That's nonsense. You know who made that up? The biggest spring water bottling company in Florida made that up. I remember they met up in the 80s. So they started telling convenience store managers, the biggest chain. I don't want to try not to say names here, but they started I've been around through every single facet of this business since the 70s. Every part of it, I've been in the middle of it. They made that rumor up. It has no basis in science whatsoever. But I don't know what it's like today, but I can tell you about 12, 15 years ago, still a lot of doctors, if you had kidney stones, they would send you home with a prescription for bottled water service. But on the prescription, it didn't say purified water only. It just said bottled water service, there's your prescription. I guess they get their insurance paid for it. So you get kidney stones, your doctor, who's supposed to be the professional, sends you home with a prescription. I've seen a prescription with my own eyes for bottled water delivery. Who do they get to deliver their water? The biggest spring water company that's selling spring water in a bottle. Right back into the kidney stones again. So, and I can tell you another thing. If you're like, well, I'll just drink bottled water. Well, bottled water, if you think it's glamorous that your spring water is coming from a spring, it's not. Read the labels on them. There's no great springs. What they are is, because all city water is well water, is spring water. These are tap water in a bottle. Now, when I hear myself saying that, I think everybody knows that these days. But think about it. They got a building that's hooked up to city water. They pay a water bill, and they're filling water bottles up with city tap water that has chlorine in it. And that's how the bottles can sit on the shelf for a long time without being purchased. But you're drinking completely unfiltered water, also has chlorine in it. By the way, all my systems remove the chlorine before it goes into the home. So when you go on to watch my other videos, and you're like, I love this system, Eric, it's great, I don't know why we don't have one, and I don't know why we never thought of it. You know, you may not just want to order this, take a look at my other video, look at my whole home system. Before you opt for a new living room set or a new TV, you have no idea what you're missing in the shower. When you take a shower with premium water that's pure, and you get a bunch of lather, and the best part is you don't have to clean the bathtub when you take a shower or take a bath. Or you got a Roman tub. Every time you take a shower, you use the bathroom with my big system for the whole house. It's bright and shiny and clean. I lived in a house one time for a short period with no soft water, no treated water, and every time you took a shower, there was this soap curd in the tub, and you were expected to get in there and scrub it all out. That was alien to me. I've always had good water. I was like, my God, this is what people are putting up with that say they don't need a system? That alone is worth getting a system for the whole house. Watch my other video. This complements the big system. Can you have this without a whole home system and just put this under your kitchen sink because you live in a condo or you just don't have the money for a whole home system, but you want to get pure water, you want to be healthy, you want a good unit, you want to trust somebody to build you a unit that's you're not getting ripped off on? That's the reason why I'm making this video. Yes, I will build you a unit. Each one takes about 8 days to build and test and box and ship, in a couple, 3 days, whatever, to get to you. So I'll build it for you, and you can have the unit. That is part of my service on my website. Go to reverse osmosis on my website, www.thewellguru.com. I'll put the link in the description under the video so you have it. I think I covered just about everything. Probably I've gone on for about an hour longer than I wanted to, but I think I've covered just about every facet of the drinking water. I don't think I left anything out, but if I did, I'll put my phone number in the description box, also with my website, on this video. So you go down and look at my website, order the unit. Also watch my other videos that are available on my YouTube channel. I got new ones from time to time. I got one with almost 200,000 views on it. Very popular system. My whole home well water system, the Well Guru system, very famous. My AFS twin tank systems, city or well water. And I'll get you, I do your testing for your water. You send me your water. I'll give you the analysis. If you have any questions, the number that I give you is my cell phone number. It goes directly to me. You got any questions whatsoever, you can just, if you don't want to open up a call and open up a conversation, you can text me. I love texting. I don't prefer emails. I run everything from a couple of smartphones in my business. We got 6 phones here at the shop. I usually carry at least 1 or 2 of them with me at all times. You got the number, and you get free technical support for life with my equipment. For now on, whenever you have a problem, and I want you to ask me questions. Even if you're changing a kitchen sink or a water heater in your house, you want to ask me, hey, I'm getting ready to do this. I got your system in my house. What do you think is the best option? You got a link for me? You got someplace you can direct me? Recommend? What should I do? What shouldn't I do? I'm I love answering those questions. So, I generally offer free shipping on everything that I sell. And one thing I want to go over was the maintenance for this. So if you decide you want to pull the trigger and own this, which is really inexpensive and cheap, I don't know why anybody wouldn't, because like I mentioned before, with 2 people in 9 months, you can pay for it, and then you have it forever. So what if you're on well water and you have no filter system on your well, on your house, processing your water? Can you slide this under the kitchen sink and make great water? Most of the time, yes, you can. I mean, I'll gladly test your water first with your purchase. Let me look at it, and I'll tell you what I suspect the maintenance would be in the future with how many people you got there. But my whole home systems, if you're already a customer and you have that, and this new video pops up on the YouTube feed, and you're like, hey, I forgot about this. I want one of these. Well, I can tell you, most people do not do maintenance very well. They don't follow directions, so now I'm trying to make videos for them, and technical service videos. But out of the tens of thousands of these units I've sold, I would say 7 out of 10 of them on my engineered units have never changed the pre and the post filter. I want you to do these every 2 years if you have my whole home system. I mean, it's less than $45, $47 delivered. Same price at Lowe's. You can buy them at Lowe's. I'd rather you buy off my website if you can get it cheaper. If it's better, cheaper, or something the same thing I sell, and I can't do the shipping as cheap, I will give you a link to buy those parts. If you need, say you drop this and you hit this with a spaghetti pot and you broke a clip. If I don't have it, I'll just give you a link and you just get it off of Amazon. But always buy it off my website. Not because I'm trying to be like Mr. Haney and sell all little tiny parts and filters. But see, when I sell a membrane for my units, these come hydrated. They're name brand. They're the best ones on the market. They're not old inventory. They're not put back in the package and resold. They're not returned. Like if you go to a warehouse, try and buy one of these at a warehouse. That crap they sell at the warehouse, a lot of people don't like spending money for this. So what they do is they go in there and they change it and they put the old one back in the box and you end up with it. You don't get that. Everything in my shop is brand new. Sterile. And if it needs to come with something, I include it. This comes fully assembled with all the filters installed. Everything's ready to go, just like you see it. Everything's installed. Do not open these up. Don't open the top unit up. This is already pre-pressurized and everything is ready to go. So every 2 years, you change your pre and post filters. So this does such a good job that you can actually, in most cases, you get 10 years out of this module. 10 years. Everybody should own one of these. And this is how you test the water. When you buy my whole home system, and this is a together package, which is a good idea for you get the whole home main system. And then for your highly purified drinking water that's filtered down into the Dalton scale, which is hydrogen and oxygen, you have this on your kitchen sink. How do you know it's working? You should have one of these. So, or at least when it's like probably 6, 7 years old, time to invest in one of these. What are they, 20, 25 bucks nowadays. Everybody should have one. If you're a girl, a woman, you should have this in your purse. Man, you should have it in your truck. You got to drink water somewhere, instant readout. So you could go probably a decade. I would recommend changing this every 5 years, your membrane. It's simple enough. You just unscrew the cap and slide it in. I've engineered this unit. This is my zenith of engineering. This is the pinnacle of engineering. The latest, greatest. There is nothing better. My competitors will sell you one that has proprietary filters where they sell you the filters only. So you got to buy these, and they're 1/3 the capacity, and you're going to pay $200 to $250 to have this unit serviced. When you could just do it every couple years for 45 bucks. It's like screwing in a light bulb. You're done. And you got purified water all the time. One last thing. You have an ice maker. Would you like to get purified water at your ice maker? Well, half the homes, the line is under your kitchen sink. You just snip this with a pair of scissors and one of these little push speed fits, John Guest fittings. Just put a T right here in that little tiny line that's underneath your kitchen sink. You plug it into there. So you got a T here and you plug it in. You're charging your ice maker with the highest quality water you can obtain. You know how bagged ice is great and it's clear? There's not a bagged ice manufacturer on the planet that has water as pure as this makes. So when you get your nice clear ice cubes that your refrigerator will start making, how great is it to have, like, if you were to have a can of soda, I haven't drank soda in 20 years, but if you were to drink soda or say a cup of scotch or glass of water, and you fill it up full of ice cubes. Right now, you wouldn't do that because your ice cubes, the taste of them would change the flavor of you wouldn't dare do it. Now, you might put 2 ice cubes in there, but you can load my glass of water right up to the top with ice when this machine's making it, and it doesn't change the flavor of your drink whatsoever. That would be like, you know, going to, say, McDonald's. I'm going to say McDonald's. They have a good reverse osmosis. They've always had good reverse osmosis water. So you go through the drive-thru, you get a Coke. Why does their Coke taste so good? Well, that's because their ice is reverse osmosis. Their soda's made with reverse osmosis water. So if your ice cubes right now, if you go to your refrigerator and they look like milk frozen, you got bad water. That's not good water. Ice cubes should not look like milk frozen. You freeze your favorite bottled water, you got a couple bottles in them, put them in the freezer, let them freeze. They should look like a glacier. You should be able to see through the ice. That's what purified water looks like. That doesn't necessarily mean it's purified, but that's a gauge if it's what kind of quality water you're looking at. If your bottled water looks like milk frozen, it's not, it's spring water. That's all I'm going to say. Love you guys. I appreciate 40 years of my customers in the business. You guys have been amazing. And I really enjoyed making this video. I've been wanting to do this video for 8 or 9 years now. And I just taken a 3-day weekend and figured I would make it. So if you got any questions, go to the video description. You got my website there, my personal cell. You can text me your questions, send me pictures of what you might have already. If you got a machine you want me to look at, a system, I can do technical support, make recommendations. I can do anything using a smartphone. These are great. I wish I had them back when I was a plumber. Back when I was a plumber, I had to go to, physically had to drive to every installation. So if you want to buy a system off of me, I can do everything with this. I mean, if you're out of state, no matter where you live on this planet, I ship to 92 countries. Most of my systems are shipped out of Florida. 80% of my systems, all my systems, even the ones I sell for the whole house on a pallet, they go to the lower 48 states, out of Florida, most of my business. And any problem, smartphones, we go back and forth. So show me a problem, take me a picture of what you're hung up on. You're my hands, you're competent, I can walk you right through it. You don't have to be a plumber to install this. You want to hire your plumber, give it to your plumber to install. That's up to you, but I don't mind walking you through it or helping you with any questions you got. Technical support is my favorite thing to do. I'm not very busy. You'll reach me at any time of the day with your text support because my systems, with 70,000 customers, I might talk to one of my customers once every 3 days. That's it.